Como ça va, y'all? Oh, the glare from the light. Let's see. Leslie Mowari see. Uh-oh, somebody done left. Uh-oh, somebody done left. Everybody left. Hello? Let's see. Hello? Not hearing myself. Can you hear me? It's been a while since I messed it with this. Hmm. hmm. It's raining. Hello? All by my lonesome. I want to try the screen sharing once we get a few people in here, see how that works. Um, Also, anyone that's in here would like to chat, come up on the panel, visit about what we got going on, that would be great. Chat, come up. Hello. We got two people in here. We're letting them take their time. It's in the middle of the day. It's not even lunch recess yet. So it's raining outside. Can't get nothing done. I'm working on my building to be able to keep my water and my nutrients in, and I can't get the tools outside because of the rain. So it's raining just hard enough to where I could work in it probably, but if it picks up too fast, I won't be able to do that. We're making so many tomatoes right now. I even put a little table in the front yard trying to get rid of some. We've sold about 200 pounds of tomatoes, 220 pounds of tomatoes so far this year. We've given away a lot. Somewhere's around, I think we're about 700 pounds of tomatoes so far. It's we did well, way better than we expected. Way better. Nobody's chatting. I'll put this up again. If you don't want to type in the chat, but you want to come up and visit, come on. Let's visit. Over here, we're not having, let's see, in the last 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, William. Well, yeah, it's we waiting on it. It's Peanut up in Brobridge said they've been getting a downpour all day, and over here it's a steady light drizzle that's going on, just enough to where really can't do anything outside. Morning, good morning. Yeah, it's been a steady drizzle. Trying to build my little cabana. Oh, trying to build my little cabana to where I can store my nutrients in my water and stuff. And it's not doing well. Oh man. Here we go. 3, 2. My phone's smarter than I am all the time. Yeah, even in the greenhouse, the tomatoes are splitting. They're not turning red in the greenhouse. We're having to take them off early, about 2 days early, to where they're not splitting. So it's been tough. The heat, it's cooling down relatively cool at night, but the heat that we're having, even in the greenhouse, it's causing them to split. Stinky Pedal Ranch, how's it going, y'all? Oh, I thought I turned that off. I put it. I put the link. I'll go ahead and put it again. Anybody that wants to come up and visit, talk about what I have going on, what y'all have going on. I welcome everybody up to visit. I don't really have anything specifically to talk about. It's just raining outside. I can't do anything else, and it's been a while since I've done a live, so I wanted to come in here and see if anybody. I know we've had a lot of great comments about the tomatoes and everything that we have. So if anybody had any questions about what we're doing, how's it going with it, or if they have questions, maybe about what they have issues with, we can talk about it. William, last year we used the sugarcane compost, and no, Mr. CB, I'm not gonna melt, but I might get electrocuted. I appreciate it, Spitfire Red. Thank you. Hope your doctor visit goes well. We've been trying to put compost in all our raised beds that we're putting. The ones in the front yard that we use the sugarcane soil compost with, they're doing good. They're doing normal. The ones that we use, that new soil starting mix, is not doing well at all. We actually didn't even weigh any of the tomatoes that we got from them. It's been they're not pretty. The cucumbers that we're growing in they're barely bumping along. So we're going to amend the soil and bought a dosatron pump to where we'll be able to add fertilizer whenever we do pump. So Stinky Puddle Ranch going well. Thank you. I'll be doing a bit of repotting. Just a few. Cool. Great. Container crops, how's it going? Again, anyone that wants to come up, talk about what they have going on at their place, they're more than welcome. I do want to share something, probably give it another couple minutes, from the Big Blue House Homestead. If you're part of Shed Wars, or you're kind of following along with Shed Wars, the smack talk or the prodding and the funny part of it, with the growing, making it fun. She did a pretty good impression of me. Really, really funny. So I want to share that in a few minutes. We'll probably give it another 4 or 5 minutes, and then I want to share the screen. I want to see how it works. I've never done it Journal Live. But yeah, she hit it on. She nailed it. I mean, it's funny. It's me. She even got the blue shirt. If you haven't watched it, um, we picked back to the greenhouses. I got off rotation Thursday, and between Thursday afternoon and Friday night, we picked over 100 pounds of tomatoes out of the two greenhouses. Um, we processed right at about 30 pounds Sunday. We had to throw some away. They were overripe, and I didn't want to take the chance with them. So we threw away some, but we processed them. We got them bagged up and put in the freezer for salsa. We're gonna try to do the salsa all at once, but we're gonna process the tomatoes and freeze it and try to get some salsa done. We've never made it. We're looking forward to giving it a shot. Let's see, anyone wants to visit? Stinky Puddle Ranch. I think we're right at about 700 pounds total between the two greenhouses since we started. Um, it's it's kind of back and forth. We've sold right. I think it's 200 to 250 pounds that we've sold. We were trying to get money back for the fertilizer and a couple of things like that. I'm never going to make the money back for the time. It's there's no way I can do that. The amount of time that's invested in it, um, plus the building the greenhouse and everything. But the main thing we're trying to do is we're giving away a lot. We're putting up a lot, eating a lot, but we're trying to sell a little bit to where it kind of funds itself at some point. And this year we're not having any issues. It was great. And if we'd have had the tomatoes, if we wouldn't have lost the tomatoes, the first set of tomatoes I planted in the greenhouse, we'd be much further along. We'd probably done hit that 1,000 pounds because the second greenhouse is planted out almost a month and a half, or the tomato started producing almost a month and a half after the first one we planted out. So it's really cool. Thank you. Stinky Puddle Ranch says, "Good lord." That's it's so awesome and beautiful thing that you're giving back to. My thing, you know, if you've been following me for a while, I used to like to drink and I used to like to be in the bars. When I got remarried or when I met my queen, that I was at the right point in my life to get away from it. I had started getting into gardening before, but it really when I met Sheena, I wanted to quit that. Now with the little dude, it's just the amount of time it takes with him and the garden and everything. We're about overwhelmed with it, but it does keep me grounded and away from it. Um, Lately, we've been having things to do with my oldest daughter's getting married in December. So, that's more time away from the greenhouse, away from the YouTube stuff and everything. So it's been a lot. Whenever I have time, it's not raining. We're still building in the greenhouses. We still have the third greenhouse to put together. So it's a lot. It's a lot. But once it's all done, it's going to be really enjoyable. Really enjoyable. So it let's go ahead and see if this will work. We'll put the Big Blue House Homestead up. I think it's a 3 or 4 minute clip. We'll let it play a little bit. Then, if y'all want to talk about what she's saying and doing, we'll talk, or I'll pause it and we'll see what's going on. Let's see how this works. Let me know if it doesn't come through. Y'all, it's me, Danny, down here, my pop's place. Can y'all hear it? He's been killing a bunch of plants back here. Don't matter. Down here in the south of Louisiana, stuff dies all the time.
days ago. I believe it was 4 days ago, or maybe it was like 7 years ago. I don't know. I need some sleep, y'all. I need to get a lot of sleep. But I started these.
How about now?
And
Can
it's
you
just
hear it now?
basically an old salsa jar. And I stuck in one of them, what they call those?
Let's see.
Styrofoam cups. Yeah, those are good. They float down in our coolies here. Down here in the south of Louisiana. Stuff dies all the time.
How about now? Can you hear it now?
Oh,
Let's see. I'm gonna have to do some research and see what's going on because I'm getting a repeat on my end. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research and see what's going on because I'm getting a repeat on my. Oh man, let's see. Maybe let's try this again.
boy, that just in a jar. That's all you need is a jar. You don't believe me? Look what you can do with just a little bit of water and a cup and some dirt and oh boy, throwing a couple seeds in there too. This is gonna be good. I feel a little loopy today. I've been working long shifts at work. Y'all, I don't even know what's going on. I've been working so long. I don't know what today is. I actually think it's last year. I don't know. Gonna have to go find a calendar. I think we have calendars here in Louisiana. But anyway, let me show you these plants growing. These are doing good. I promise. I promise. I promise. Hail Mary, I promise. These are doing good. So I started these about 4 days ago. I believe it was 4 days ago, or maybe it was like 7 years ago. I don't know. I need some sleep, y'all. I need to get a lot of sleep. But I started these, and it's just basically an old salsa jar. And I stuck in one of them, what they call those, some styrofoam cups. Yeah, those are good. They float down in our coolies here, and you can get them for free all the time. Yeah, you can get those for free all the time. Just walk out to the coolies, watch your fingers with them gators. But yeah, you can just get those free all the time. So anyway, I got some basil in this one, and you can see it's already growing. All I did was put some holes in the bottom of this cup, stuck it in the water, a little bit of fish fertilizer, just a little bitty tiny bit. And yeah, basil's already growing. And then over here, this is some pumpkins. Got some pumpkins growing. Now, I got some beans back in here and some sunflowers back in this one, but they ain't growing yet. Anyways, we're going to go down and we're going to look at my garden because, oh boy, I got some good stuff going down there. My tomato plants are as tall as me, and I got tons of ripe tomatoes going. So let's go check out the garden and get this stuff going. Now, I took my hydroponics and I moved it underground a little bit. So it's just a little bit of different coverage on there, but you'll see what I'm talking about when we get down there. So I'm thinking this is on now. Maybe I can get a good video out of this one. But anyway, y'all, down here on a field trip because I got to show y'all these plants. I done went to sleep for a good old 20 minutes, and I woke up and half my plants are gone. Happens all the time over here in Louisiana. Problem is, I don't know what to do about it. People have been telling me to use a black light to look up these little guys. I don't do that. It works. I know it works. I've seen other people doing it, but I don't do that. You know why? Because I got a good old recipe for some boudin with these guys. So let me show you what I'm talking about. See, these were all the way up to these posts right here. And yeah, these guys came through and ate them halfway down. I don't know what I'm gonna do this year because all my tomatoes will be getting eaten up. But you see this? I got one hanging out there. I got one hanging out over there. I got one hanging out there, and I got one hanging out here. Oh, Danny, don't play nice with these. These are what you call a tomato hornworm, and they're bad to get.
It's awesome.
Like
it's awesome. She got me. I got to think of some stuff to put now for the SmackDown, but she got me so good. I really can't.
Let me show you.
You know, it's amazing.
Real done gone crazy if they got me up in this kitchen. Yeah, because if you got me up in the kitchen, Danny don't cook. Ain't my job, by the way. Class of 1959. Don't tell anybody my age. Anyways, y'all, I got me a handful of these tomato worms, and I'm gonna tell you, these things are weird. They are green caterpillars, and they got a little red thing sticking off their rear ends, and some of them will hang upside down. Some of them will get all kind of weird and curly. And then you got the kinds like this that get these little white spikes all across the top. Don't kill them or use those in boudin. I'll tell you why. Those are eggs. There's a wasp that comes through and it lays eggs in these caterpillars, and you know what? They lay more of these wasps, and these wasps will kill these caterpillars. So, because I raised these caterpillars, I've been doing it for like 25 years now. I know exactly what to do. This guy, I'm gonna name him Gerardo, and I'm gonna go stick him back on my tomato plants, and he's gonna live as long as he can. Because I want some of them little waspy guys coming through. So anyway, in the kitchen, let's get this boudin made, because this stuff is good. I guarantee it is good, good stuff. All right, guys, I got it. I got my mini chopper on the counter. I got my handful of worms. I'm gonna put them in. We're gonna put the top on, and we're gonna go ahead and process these up, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, y'all. I done processed them up real good. Put a little bit of yogurt in with it too to make it a little creamy, because they're already creamy enough. But just a little extra. Now let me throw this in my boudin, and ooh, it's gonna be some good eats. Y'all, I ain't got time to show you guys my entire boudin recipe, because the only thing I can do right now is just cook up the rest of the sausage that's going in it. Now, sausage and boudin is not the same thing. When you're in South Carolina, like that big blue house lady is, yeah, her kind of boudin, it ain't made of tomato home worms, but it is made with some good stuff, local grown good stuff. So we're gonna throw this together real quick, and I won't show you. I'm gonna go head to bed because I got about 25 seconds, and then I gotta go to work. So I'm gonna have to head on out. So Danny with Cajun Hydroponics here, grow something in water. Even if it means put your feet in there and grow yourself. Grow something in water. Just watch them toes from them gators. I'll see you guys next time, and yeah, grow it in the waters. Bye, y'all.
Oh man, that was awesome. Yeah, she got me even down to the headphones. I always keep my headphones. Sometimes they're in my ear, sometimes they're hanging around my neck. But when I do a video, I'll always have my headphones. And she did amazing making fun of me. I don't even. It kind of got me stuck. I don't know what to do. Um, Again, anyone that wants to come up and visit about what they have going on, we're more than welcome to do that. Y'all check out the Big Blue House Homestead. She has a couple videos, like that. The Comedy Hour, I think she calls them, Shed Wars Comedy Hour. But she also has some amazing information on what she's doing, step-by-step processes, great tutorials. Y'all check her out. She's great, really great to watch. Let's go through here and let's see. We got Mr. CB from CB's Greenhouse and Gardens, the Tin Can Gardener, Gardening Done All Wrong, and Annie Dale's Homestead in the Colony, Stinky Puddle Ranch, the Vineyard Chicks, Container Crops, the Cajun Homestead. I think Gardening Done All Wrong. I think that's who we have in here right now. So yeah, she is amazing, really is. She has other people that she talks about, in the video. I think that video is like 20 minutes long. She just does a great job, and it just, hey, Stinky Puddle, that's not nice. I did some pretty good ones myself for John, but yeah, it is. She's just amazing, really. Take care, Container Crops. Thank you for stopping by. Let's see, what can we talk about? Will it grow as Borat? Dude, John was so slightly intoxicated for that. He actually thought we took the picture off of Borat, put a picture of John's face on it, and at the end of that live, he actually thought that Borat looked like him, a lot like him. He didn't realize that it was photoshopped. So, let's see. There we go. Okay. So as far as the tomatoes, the greenhouses, the last 2 weeks we used between 15 to 1,700 gallons of solution. and it's using a lot right now. A lot of the reasons for that was because of the leaves. I had a lot of leaves on it that didn't need to be there. So I went ahead and I pruned a lot of the leaves off of the lower branches, even though the tomatoes were still there, and it worked well. We went from using close to 75 gallons of water solution a day to doing probably about 25, 30 gallons. But we do have a lot of tomatoes. We have probably well over another 100 pounds that's going to have to be picked in the next 3 or 4 days. So we'll be processing a lot for salsa and putting it in the freezer. Cajun Homestead, I'm at a place called Work. 28 ears of corn this weekend. Nice. How's your corn? Are they full? Take care, Cajun Homestead. Yeah, we have some more room. Oh, the computer's doing something wrong. What the heck? I don't know what that was. Something just popped up. I'm being hacked. They want all my gardening information. The the fertilizer and everything, I'm using a bit more than I expected. But for the amount of tomatoes we're getting, it's really good. Really, it's not that bad off. The traveling people ask me why I don't just use the town water instead of going back and forth to the property. The water at the property, I checked the pH one time with it right when I first started, and I haven't checked it since. And you can see from the videos, it's working great. The vineyard chicks. Let's see. With what I do, I nope, wrong one. Popped up all at once. Vineyard chicks. I in the greenhouse, it's a recirculating system, so the water pumps from the tank in the ground into the buckets, then it returns back the overflow. And what I have set up right now is I have 3 250 gallon totes that are set up on floats to keep the nutrient level in the greenhouses at a certain point. So when the pumps kick on, it actually adds a little bit more fresh nutrients daily. And so we do add nutrients or fertilizer every day in the greenhouse. Yes, is the way my setup is. Mr. CB does his a little bit different. He has, I don't have the time when I'm on my rotation to adjust it every day. So Mr. CB has his tank with the nutrients in it, and he has a freshwater top off. Jeff, I actually trying to get that boudin recipe. I tell you what, when you find it, let me know. Not that I'm going to try it because tomato hornworms don't look real good, but grow something with Jeff, Paul, no whining allowed. Was I whining? I think the only whining I did is I do talk a lot the last couple of weeks or months about the lack of sleep, and I have been sleeping. I slept late this morning. I slept till 5 o'clock. I was pumped up. But the vineyard chicks, yeah, I do add a fertilizer. The mix it goes into the tank daily. Every time it pumps, the plants will drink some, and as it's running, it'll actually add new fertilizer fresh to it. You can look at what Jeff grow something with Jeff. He does grow some stuff in the wintertime. The basement, it depends how high. There's a lot of different ways you can use a cracky method, a deep water culture. There's different ways, that take up a little bit less room, but the buckets with the perlite do seem to produce better when you're using the tomatoes. I go with the master blend. Per gallon is going to be the cheapest fertilizer you can mix and put together as far as what I found, and the results are there. Yeah, Jeff's putting an NFT system up in his basement soon. We've talked about that lately in the basement. The Yeah, I mean, as far as recommendations, it all depends on the amount of room you have, the amount of time you want to spend with it, the amount of lights you're going to use. If you're going to be growing tomatoes, you're going to need some decent, on the low end side, decent grow lights for the fruit to be able to reach maturity. I do recommend, if you're going to be growing tomatoes in the basement, to use some. I would go with a smaller variety tomato. The larger variety tomatoes take a long time. You end up with the grow lights. You possibly end up with some really thick-skinned tomatoes. The Campari tomato is something that we're growing in the greenhouse. It's an amazing flavor. It makes tomato from the size, just over the size of a golf ball, to a little bit bigger than a large marble, but the flavor is amazing. So that's what I would recommend starting out with, is a smaller variety in the greenhouse, in the grow room, more than a larger variety. Yeah, Campari, it's amazing. They do so well also in the Dutch bucket systems with the perlite. They do great. Uh, at Pop's place, Pop has 5 plants. I have 3, and it's just, if you wait till they turn red, and they're not as firm, and they're red, they're juicy. It's the most amazing flavor I've tasted. Hey Jules, how's it going? Take your time, brother. Just killing some time right here. Anyone that wants to jump up is more than welcome to. It's raining outside, so it's been a while since I've done a live stream. Figured I would jump on and visit a little bit. But yeah, the Camparis, that's something we've grown almost every year in the greenhouse, and it's never failed us. My partner Rob from Primal Cajun picks them up from Walmart, liked the taste of them, so he kept some seeds from it, and we've been growing the seeds off of it, and we were actually getting better flavor from the ones from the seeds. We're getting a slightly larger tomato with better flavor than we did with the ones from Walmart. Oh man. Let's see. The raised beds, I spoke about this earlier, it's about done. We didn't get much off of them. We're going to have to amend the soil. The soil that we have is not really, really good at all. We did buy a fertilizer pump to inject when the timer kicks on. With the Campari seeds, we got them from Walmart. I did order some from eBay, just because we were running low, and I haven't grown them yet. They're in the freezer with the rest of with some of the other seeds. As far as like the big beef seeds, I try to get them where they're the cheapest. All my seeds, I try to buy them in bulk. I try not to buy seeds under 1,000 seeds at a time, even though it might take me 3 or 4 years to be able to use them. Jeff, you need to quit your job. YouTube is way more important than work, Jeff. Way more important. Stinky Puddle Ranch. Mr. CB has a nice tutorial with the smaller greenhouse. CB's Greenhouse and Gardens. Rob, Primal Cajun, has, I think it's a 12 by 12 or a 10 by 14 greenhouse that has, I think 14 or 16 buckets in it. He does amazing with it. Both of Mr. CB and Rob. Mr. CB does get a little bit more production out of his, as it's more longer than it is wider. But yeah, there's some great, for smaller greenhouses. Gardening Done Wrong, or Gardening Done All Wrong, also has a couple videos out. he actually does them outside in the hydroponics buckets, in the Dutch buckets. And I am planning on trying to set up like that next year with about 25 buckets to see how they work. The more along the lines for like the Amelia tomatoes and the celebrities, something that's a determinate or a semi-determinate, to be able to grow them outside would really it would help. You know, the pruning of the big beef and stuff in the greenhouse, um, it's a mess. I will be pulling them out shortly. The Amelias that I have, I'll be cutting the plants out to let the wind, try to get a little bit better airflow with the temperatures coming up. That was kind of the plan I had. Put in a determinate, semi-determinate, let it grow up. You know, once the flush of tomatoes is done, take them out. So we will be cleaning that up this week. Um, I don't really have a video on how I got it started. The third greenhouse, when I start putting it up, I will be putting it together. Basically everything that's been done up until the last time I was in, I did on my own. So it's really hard to do work and video at the same time. The third greenhouse, I am planning on doing a little bit step by step process with it. But I mean, if any questions y'all have, y'all more than welcome to email me, and we can chat about them. It's not it's super easy. You know, it takes time to build it, but it's really super easy, super easy. But like I said, on the third greenhouse is actually going to be half the greenhouse is going to be set up with the Dutch buckets, and the other half of the greenhouse is going to be set up for seed starts, to where I can start all the plants and everything. You know, it's Rob actually has some different varieties of tomatoes that he wants to try that are all indeterminate. And but the seeds are expensive, from 25 cents to I think 75 cents a seed. So he's going to start those, and then we're going to try to overwinter them in the third greenhouse, to where we can take some cuttings from them like we did in the number one greenhouse and grow from them, to try to see how they are, to keep producing them. It's tomato seeds. I mean, you can buy seeds that are $5 a piece. You know, it just, the amount of cost you're going to spend for the seeds, for the production, it's hard to beat big beef for the setup and the system that I have. I really, really like them. Yeah. Jeff's going to have a really cool NFT system in his place. We've been talking about it. He had great ideas. He's got it going on. I don't know why he was talking to me about it, trying to get it. Oh man. The basics, you know, I actually have a 180-gallon tank in the ground. Man, Stinky Puddle Ranch, that's the thing. You know, the super high heat and extreme humidity. Trying to get all that Cajun knowledge. I go with the big beef. You know, around the time that July and August is usually so hot around here, it's a good time just to take a step back, take a break, to be able to clean the greenhouses and get everything done, you know, kind of cleaned up. The heat and humidity, you end up having with high humidity, you have issues with the flowers pollinating themselves, because it gets sticky. The pollen inside the flowers gets sticky, so it doesn't pollinate. You know, as far as the setup I have, other people have, you know, better success with it. But like I said, by the time July, August gets around, I'm about 3.5 months into it. So, you know, I'm kind of getting burnt out on it. I need a little break, and then got to clean up. July and August, we're cutting grass 3-4 times a week, 3 or 4 days a week over here. So, there's just a lot going on. The, they have some people are starting to have tomatoes that are, um, don't need pollination. I'm not sure on the flavor. There's such a variety of tomatoes, and the area y'all are in. I think y'all are in Florida, if I remember correct. Being in Florida, I mean, it could be totally different. I know watching Dan's permaculture food forest, he seems to grow more of his spring vegetables, around um, January, February, to where we're growing. It he's about 2 months ahead of us. So if y'all are around his area, the heat and humidity would be, let's see, the varieties and everything would have to coincide. You might, the stuff I'm planting out in February, March, y'all might want to be planting out in the middle of December, beginning of January. It would, I could sit down and do some research and kind of talk to you about it a little bit more, but MHP Garden, Mississippi, a lot of them, it's hard to beat big beef. If you have the space and the grow time to use it for a single stem, it's hard to beat big beef with the cost per plant and the flavor and everything you get along with it. Um, in a basement, vineyard chicks in a basement, it's super easy to grow lettuce. It's a little bit more time consuming, and you need a little bit better lighting system to grow tomatoes and fruiting vegetables. There's a lot of really great, videos out there to see. The space. I'm trying not to give too much away about what Jeff's doing, but when you could save space and do different things with it, it really makes it help. Hey, Mr. Robert, how's it going, brother? It's raining over here. So I figured I'd jump on and do a little live stream. Can't get much else. Yeah, the tomatoes, it's. Oh, if y'all are in Oklahoma, y'all should do great with it. I mean, the heat and humidity, it's understandable, but it's not. Y'all should be able to do the same thing I'm doing in a small house. The main thing with even if it's a smaller greenhouse, Stinky Puddle Ranch, the main thing with it is to be able to have airflow and opening it up enough during the hotter part of the seasons to be able to reduce the temperatures. Shade cloth and airflow when it's hot really helps. Surrounded by water. Jules, the storm that was passing, we actually didn't even get an eighth of an inch of rain off of it. We were kind of in the bowl where it hit, and we didn't get much. We were very lucky. What we're getting right now is just regular old rain off the Gulf. So it's not bad. I think in the last week we've got less than a quarter of an inch of rain. Hey there, Miss Lone Star Pioneering. Mr. Robert, Homestead Aquarius. Try not to talk too fast. I do tend to get a little blurred on my speech whenever I get a lot of people. But I mean, Rob at Primal Cage in his little greenhouse, as far as the small greenhouse, he has him and his mom stay together. His mom lives with him, and his sister with kids, along with a couple of aunts and stuff. And with that small greenhouse, he keeps everybody in tomatoes pretty much as they want for about 2.5, 3 months of the season. With it being a smaller greenhouse, it does heat up faster. So he does have to, it does end up slowing down a little bit faster than if you had a larger greenhouse, there's the temperature swings. The smaller your greenhouse is, the faster your temperature swings are in it. So if you could put some type of fans or anything like that, I'm doing a trial with mine. I do have fans that I can put in, but I'm trying to see how it works with the 4 foot bottoms being opened up and then the doors and the sides are all opened up. So far, it really seems to be working well, and I still haven't put any shade cloth on top. I get a lot of people in the comments. If you find some tomatoes missing and the salt shaker in there, just that was me. Don't worry about it. I'm like, don't even bring salt. It's full. We keep salt in the greenhouse already. I can't walk around without having salt. Thank you, Stinky Puddle Ranch. I'm not a really good storyteller when it comes to videoing, or I try to teach, but it's most of the time I get off of task. When I really want to talk about something, I make me notes and I try to follow the notes to be able to talk about it. Because of I get off task and I can't find it. The um The Garden State Gardener gave away a lot of dwarf tomatoes this Sunday. He on Sundays he does a giveaway and he spotlights 3 channels, and he gave away a lot of dwarf tomatoes this Sunday. I actually want some. I think it's some super hot double pot super hot peppers. I'll be getting those. So I guess I'll be growing a lot of super hots next year. The Vineyard Chicks, if you're asking about a company to buy seeds from, I try Morgan County Seeds. There's a few different ones. Like I said, I'll do a search for the varieties I'm looking for, and I try to find the cheapest ones. A lot of the times, the shipping is what throws everything off. Some places have more shipping than others. If you want to try some smaller packages, smaller quantities, to be able to try them out, different varieties. M.I. Gardner, I think all his seeds now are $2 a pack or somewhere's in that area with shipping. So, and he does have a lot of different varieties. Yeah, I don't remember offhand everywhere as I get them from. I got so much seeds. Johnny Seeds is another one. But I got so much seeds this year sent to me. It's around Christmas time. Is every time we went to the post office box, we had some people send so much seeds. It's amazing how great everybody was with them. So yeah, in the spring we'll be trying a lot of different ones. Yeah. Now, I mean, for bulk seeds, it's Todd's. I'm gonna type it in there. Bulk seeds. I don't think you'll find a place cheaper than toddseeds.com. If they have the seeds you want, you're not gonna find cheaper seeds, but it's a bulk seed purchase. I think with the bigger seeds, the smallest you can buy is a half pound. But like the Market More cucumbers, I think it was $7 for a pound of Market More cucumber seeds, which is about 20,000 seeds, if I remember correctly. Lettuce seeds, everything. He's got a good variety, and if they have it, I don't even get a discount, but I do like to promote. The cost of his seeds are so cheap that it's hard to beat. If you're growing microgreens or something like that, his seeds they're great. The cost of them, you're not going to find them. Yeah, Jules, Johnny Seeds does have great germination rate. pretty much all the bigger companies have great germination rates. The um, some of the smaller ones, not too much. You know, I'm not gonna say you get what you pay for, but myself, I'm growing seeds, and I don't remember where they're from. If they're from Morgan County Seeds, Johnny Seeds, or but the big beef varieties that I'm growing right now. I was talking to Rob the other day that the the normal size of what I'm getting is a lot bigger than what Rob's getting. Um, so he actually got his big beef seeds from someone else, and we're thinking that it could be the initial purchase of where different people with it being a hybrid, they're getting it from different places, and it could be an issue with the cross pollination. Um, so you know, it I got lucky because we're really making the the third and fourth flush of tomatoes that we're getting right now still running right at a half pound of tomato. And they're turning fast because of the heat and the longer days. That's Mr. Jules giving another one. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out. I do like a lot of the seed companies. Um, I have it wrote down because I forget. I forget where I buy stuff from, so I do try to write them down. I have them used to have them saved on my phone, but when it updated, I lost everything. Uh, I lost everything in the bookmarked. Yeah, Stinky Puddle Ranch. I mean, Todd Seeds is a great place if you look into. Oh, if you're a market gardener and he has the seeds you want, you're not going to find them for a cheaper price. Not going to find it for a cheaper price. He doesn't have a big variety of tomatoes. He has a pretty good variety of cucumbers. Um, you know, we bought some Market More seeds. I think it's gone on 7 years now. Bought a pound of seeds and we're still using them. It's amazing how far it goes for such. You go to the store and you buy a packet of Market Mores, it costs you $4. Where you order it from over there, you get a pound. It might be $15 with shipping, but you have seeds for years. We actually bought a small freezer for Black Friday just to put seeds in, a little 7 cubic foot freezer. If anybody wants to join, y'all are more than welcome. The hydroponics, talking about the school. My oldest daughter is a teacher, and she's thinking about taking over. Well, the lady moved that does the gardening at her school, and she's wanting me to help. Well, she's thinking about taking it over. Um, she's wanting me to help with that, and I think that's really going to be fun. They have quite a bit of space in their garden area over there at the school, and the kids really enjoy it. They really do, being able to grow the stuff and being able to pick it and try it at school different times a year, different things that are growing. So I'm looking forward to helping her with it if she does decide to take that portion over. She has two raised beds at her place that didn't do well last year. She put a little bit of work into it this year, a little bit more than she had been, and she's really getting really great at it. She's excited. She's picking more out of her raised beds are 3 foot wide by 10 foot long, and she's picking more than her and her husband can eat, and she's getting a couple families with it also.
What's it going on, Danny?
Oh, not much, brother. How you been, Mr. Jules?
I'm just hanging in there, man. I heard you talking seed stuff. I was looking through. I don't think many folk here are where we're at. I know CB is, but he probably knows the deal or has his own source. But if you're in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and I don't work for this company, by the way, but Wyatt Corals, they're basically a wholesaler I think you can get stuff in half pound, but they sell it to, independent nurturers who then sell
Right.
it in bulk. Um, Great stuff, very, very inexpensive, by the ounce.
Yep.
I mean, for a small backyard gardener, if you find the right store that carries their seeds, you can get anything you want. If you're small gardening, uh, sometimes under $1. Like you'll get enough peas to plant for the year for like 60 cents, right?
Right.
Because it's all bulk. You're not paying for packaging and all that kind of thing. And I imagine, I mean, online world's changed everything, of course, but you still have those companies out there that are regional. I'm sure nobody outside of our area has ever heard of Wyatt Corals,
I've never
and
heard of them.
and I'm sure there's people that buy their stuff and don't even know what it is they're buying because it's in bulk.
Right.
Throw it in a bag, mark it up, but it's really, if you're gonna plant a lot of variety, it saves quite a bit of money to find a store like that carries that stuff in bulk. They call me the big spender. They're in there selling pounds of stuff to farmers.
And you go in there buying an
Yeah,
ounce.
yeah, I'll buy an ounce, half
But
an ounce of this.
that's similar to what Todd Seeds is.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like the cucumber. The largest seeds are also pretty much a half a pound is the least amount you'll be able to get off of them. The tomatoes, I think the smallest you can buy is an ounce of tomato seeds, which is quite a few tomato seeds.
Oh heck
They,
yeah!
they don't. Their variety's down right now with the tomato seeds. I don't know if it's because of the virus issues or what. Last time I went and looked, they only had 2 varieties of tomato seeds.
Oh, brother.
But they have, I think, 15, 20 different varieties of lettuce, and it's hard to beat. Like I said, if you got a specific, they actually sell packages for microgreen packages that you can put together. For Christmas, I ordered some seeds around Christmas, and if you spent $50, they sent you $50 worth of microgreen seeds. So
Cool.
yeah, I bought way more seeds than I needed, of course. But then it turned out that it ended up being like 9 pounds of microgreen seeds they sent me.
Yeah, Vineyard Chicks. You found it? Okay. Yeah, it's Wyatt Corals. It's hyphenated. I'm not even sure we can buy direct from them. I've never even tried because I've got within a mile of my house as a dealer. We also use a company called Daddy Pete's, which is also a Carolina company. It's all organic. The core of their product is cow manure. It's a dairy farm.
Right.
And I'm assuming it must be true or they couldn't claim it, but I assume that the fields are clean. So it's organic manure, and then from there they make anything and everything from container soil to topsoil to 100% cow manure to something called a permatill. It's got little chips of slate in it, which is also mined in North Carolina. I imagine every state, if you just look around, you'll find stuff like that. But I don't know if you can buy Vineyard Chicks directly from Wyatt Corals. But I do know if you're in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, there's probably a store near you that carries that stuff in bulk. And it's the reason I brought that up is because what Danny said is just no comparison. The cost, it's not even close. The volume versus the pennies is outrageous when you start looking at stuff at packets. WKeyseeds.com. That's right, Jeff. That's the one.
Give me a second.
Yeah, have a seed catalog, but don't see where you can place an order. Yeah, Jeff. I've never even tried. I think they're pure wholesale, so which means you couldn't get any of that stuff up there unless somebody sent it to you. I don't think they do Vineyard Chicks. That's what I was saying. I've never even bothered. Within a mile. I go to this place at least once a week. In the spring I'm up there about 3 days a week. I've actually worked that their front of the store where all the plants are. I've worked that before because people assumed I worked there, but I don't work there. I'm just there all the time.
I've had so many people stop this year and ask if I was selling plants. You selling plants? No, I'm not selling. I don't even know if I want to get into selling plants. That's a mess. That's a lot more work than I think I want to get into.
Yeah, and Lord, with your schedule, with your when you're gone, you're gone.
Well, the biggest thing, my wife took the job she has now. Um, she took the job she has now so that she could be home more.
I got you.
The time was supposed to be better. It was only supposed to be 6-7 hours a day, 5 days one week, 6 days the next week,
Right.
and it turns into 10. She's almost at 10 hours a day right now, 6 days a week. Thank you for stopping by, Vineyard Chicks. Thank y'all so much. If y'all have any questions, please, send me an email and we can chat about it. It's the setup super easy, super easy.
That's the hydroponics indoor growing stuff. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of caught that.
When
I was walking by before, I turned you on. I told you I was here, but I would be right back. I was doing stuff, and I caught part of that conversation, but I assume that you were talking about when you said it's easy to grow lettuce in a basement.
Yeah, in the basement it is. The lights. Let's see. The bigger the fruit you put out, the better the lights you need, and the more lights you need. If you're growing on just the leaves, you could do it with regular shop lights. It works really well with that. But if you're going to put on fruit, it really takes a much better lighting system.
Shop lights, you got my man. I've got. And let me back up. When I was a young man, my dad used to take me out to the swamps and stuff, and we would on purpose search for water moccasins, copperheads, stuff like that.
On purpose.
I'm not. Spiders, I don't like spiders because I can't see them half the time. They can get on you. Snake, if I can see a snake, I don't have a problem with it. Last week, I went out in the garage, turned my light on, it flickered. And I'm walking down there and I see this cabinet that I've set there. It's got like a 4-inch gap off the floor. And I thought, man, that'd be a perfect place for a snake to hang out, And then I go down and pick my garage door up, almost grabbed the snake tail instead of the rope to the door. Yeah, there's a black snake, half of it. Fortunately, the head side was on the other side of the door. So I checked him out. So now I've got snake anxiety. I'm constantly looking around. Well, my shop lights went out in my garage. So I can no longer lock it down because I have to open it from the outside till I get those lights replaced,
Right.
And it's been so much rain, I just don't want to go in there. I'm not afraid of snakes. I'm afraid of surprise snakes.
I'm afraid of snakes and spiders. I don't like them at all.
Yeah.
I'll scream like a little girl, loud.
I followed this black snake around the yard. I wanted to see what his path was, what it is he's up to. And he actually came right at me one time. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He wasn't afraid of me at all. So I just backed off and let him do his thing. But really, a black snake, run around the yard, I don't mind that. Takes care of rats and mice and stuff like that,
We'd move them in the country when we get the black snakes. We'd try to move them out as long as they wasn't in the chicken coop. They get aggressive when they were around the chickens. I'm not a fan of snakes, but I did try to move them. But
that's the one thing. Well, there's two things. One is my wife does not want to deal with chickens, but the other one is that I know they will attract black snakes.
They attract all kind of snakes, not just black snakes.
Yeah.
But the black snakes they tend to stick around a lot more. Hey there, little piece of heaven farms. It's not. I'm not a fan of snakes at all. At all.
Really?
No.
If you see it, if it doesn't surprise you, you still freak out.
I'm not as bad as I used to be, but I mean, if I'm within 5 feet of a snake and I see it, it surprised me. You know what I'm saying? If I'm down the road and I see one crossing the road, it doesn't freak me out. But if it's close enough for me to feel, it will. I'll scream. I was working at the property, I was cleaning everything up where I used to have my big garden at. I used to have about a half-acre garden. Hey, Kiki, what's up, sister? We had some big cement culverts out in the ground that had been sitting there for years. So when the rain, they just sunk from the weight. They just sunk in the dirt. And I tried hitting it with the tractor, but it looked like it wanted to fall apart. So I went and I started rocking it. I mean, it's probably some 4-foot culverts, but so I'm sitting there rocking it. And when it finally broke over, there was a snake that was balled up. It was cold. It was wintertime. There was a snake balled up like between I'm pushed over like that. I screamed like a little girl. The neighbors like 100 yards away in their trailer, and they come outside to see what was going on. I almost couldn't get back on the tractor. My legs were so weak. That tells you how scared I am of them. I had to pick myself up with my arms to get back on the tractor. And then I went run over it with the tractor.
I came across 3 last year that were surprise snakes. And, that one, I almost picked the thing up by the tail. I feel you, man. Last year I picked up my little harvest basket,
Mm-hmm.
It's a pink Easter basket, let's be honest. I had set it down, and I guess I had peppers and whatnot in that basket. I went over and looked at the okra, 10 foot away. I walked back and I picked that basket up, and I've got flip-flops on. And when I pick that basket up, I see it as it's happening. This copperhead rolls out of that basket, rolls down my leg, off my front foot. And it was weird because I'm just looking at him like, what are you doing here? And he was kind of looking at me the same way. Like he was surprised too, which is a good thing because those guys will want to fight you over anything.
Oh, yeah,
Copperheads want to fight, man.
They mean.
So we looked at each other, and then my next memory is like we're like this. My next memory is we're like that. And I don't know how I went backwards by like 6 feet. I had like
a matrix moment.
Yeah, the shoot. I don't remember it, man. I'm looking at it, and then all of a sudden I'm far back. I was like, wow, that's pretty weird.
One of Pop's friends had he got some crawfish ponds, but you got to walk. There's like each pond's like 5 acres, and you put a little pirogue behind you, and you grab the cage, you dump them into it, you dump the crawfish out, then you bait them and you put them back. It was at the end of the season, and Pop's like, oh, you can go over there and check them. We'll ball the crawfish. And I made it through just about all of them. There was probably 30 cages left. I picked it up, and there was the snake inside the cage. Ooh. I threw the cage. That was it. I called Pop. I'm like, they got 20 more cages that need to be baited. I'm not messing with them. Walking in there barefoot, it's.
Thank you, Kiki. That's right. Real men are secure with Pete.
Oh.
Yeah, that's funny you said. One time, one summer, me and my brother walked down to the swamp. Our house backed up to woodland that went down to a creek and then came back up the other side, and it all fed into a swamp. And that's how we basically got introduced to snakes and whatnot. So I guess it was good to grow up that way because you kind of know what the deal is when your dad's telling you all these little tricks, what to do and what not to do. So we're walking in the creek, which is a trick, I mean, it's basically, it's only, it's less than knee high.
Right.
So that's a little summer trick when you're traveling through the woods like that. It's just walk in the creek itself. It's like
not on the edge.
Yeah, not on the edge. It's like a highway. And so we come around this curve, and it's where the canopy opens and sun drop, and all these drop trees and stuff. And you ever see those Indiana Jones movies where he's in a situation, there's just snakes everywhere?
Yep.
That was me and my brother, man. Before we realized what was up, we're looking around. We had walked through a pack of them. I mean, they're laying everywhere, Danny. It's not like we see them in front of us. By the time we realize that they're beside us, in front of us, behind us, we were in the middle of all kinds of snakes, man. That was the scariest I've ever been because, a surprise snake is one thing, but when you walk in, you can't even count how many's there. Yeah. They'd all gone there for the sun,
And they were probably breeding also.
Possibly. They didn't want
probably
us
breeding.
there. They did not want us there, man. A lot of, all that stuff. I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to piss. Oops, sorry.
Let me ask. I ain't worried about that. The vineyard chicks are going. Little piece of heaven. I think it would. let's see, fill and drain work as hydroponics, play around with aquaponics, thinking of changing it. It should work the exact same, just without the fish with the fill and drain. The I can't even think of an issue, with it. Whatever you're growing in it with with the aquaponics should work as well or better with the hydroponics. Some of my older videos, we tried to fill and drain. I built some troughs out of plywood and I lined them, and it was a constant recirculating system. There was no pure light or anything in it. I just put the plants in some net cups with some pebbles, and as the roots got bigger, we lowered the water in it, and they did well until the heat got us over here. I was unable to keep the temperatures of the for the root systems low enough. So I think it would. It should work the exact same, but instead of relying on the fish to make the fertilizer, you already have the fertilizer. So it should work well. Depending how high your water comes up in the flood and drain system, you might end up, if you have a big table set up with it, you might end up with some algae growth on the top of it. That would be something really good, to discuss on a live. Also, different ways you could put some of the greenhouse fabric across the top to where you can put your plants in the holes, but not have the whole thing opened up for evaporation. The bigger your containers are, the more evaporation you're going to have coming off of them. So if you have a 5-gallon bucket, you only have a small port on the top of it. You can put the lid to help prevent evaporation. If you have a 4x8 table that with a flood and drain, you're going to end up with more evaporation off of it. So different things to try to minimize the evaporation and to minimize the amount of algae and stuff that build up on the top of it. It will work. It's just to try to prevent other issues.
I wonder why though. Little wants to. I think they said they were thinking about.
They were thinking about changing over to it. But
what I was going to say, well, what's the motivation? Because if it's, don't get me wrong, I'm an economist, not a hydroponics person. But if your motivation is maybe it's easier to deal with. I mean, it sounds doable, but is it going to make a difference in the amount of labor you put in?
The aquaponics is something that the kids want to do down the road. Yeah. So it's kind of something that I spend a little bit of time watching. It's something I'm going to spend a lot more time watching once I'm finished building what I have. It's not going to be a big system that we're growing. But I know some people with the aquaponics, you have to adjust the pH a lot more. It's a constant battle with cleaning different types of filters and different things because of the poop from the fish. There's basically with the hydroponics, you mix the solution, you put it in the tank, you pump it out where you want it to go, it drains back, and you do it again, on your timing system. So you do have to purchase the fertilizer, but you put your fertilizer in, you're pretty much done. If you have to adjust your pH or something, depending on the type of water you have, you could have to do that also, but it's almost a one time and done when you adjust your pH. Now, like, let's see, Building with Todd, it's a guy I've been following for a long time. He does the, let's see.
There you go. There's the motivation.
Yeah. Now you might end up with the same issues, not really keeping the fish alive, but keeping your tanks warm enough to be able to promote growth with your plants. Let's see. Your root system, your roots and your plants just like with the fish, your roots and your plants like certain temperatures between, say 60 degrees and 80 degrees would be a good spot for your plants to be able to grow. If you get below it or above it, you may end up with the same the same issues you're having with the fish. Hey there, living life in the slow lane with Paula, and Randy. Canadian Proud, get outdoors. This one, yeah, there's hydroponics is great, especially for indoors. To try it for leafy vegetables, it's great. The best life, the ideal pH would, depending on what you're growing, the pH could change slightly. It's pretty much standard, somewhere between 5.8 and 6.1, 6.2. If you get out of that, the stuff's still going to grow, but it's like everything else with hydroponics. You want to try to hit that sweet spot with it. If you had 5.5, the stuff's still going to grow, but some of the nutrients won't be able to uptake it. You end up with a nutrient lockout, and your plants won't grow to full potential.
Seems like he was in here. CB.
Yep, Mr. CB.
Yeah, he's got a ton of videos.
Yep.
If you have patience, the details of all of that stuff. I don't have the patience for it. I can't keep up with what I got to do as it is.
It's I mean, my work schedule, and my wife's schedule, with the amount of, people think it's this amazingly hard system to be able to upkeep and everything. And, you having to, we're doing less than an hour a day, maintenance in the greenhouses, way less than an hour a day. And that includes driving to the property. It takes me an hour to fill up, say 700 gallons, 800 gallons of water. That's included in the hour a day. Now, the picking the vegetables takes, a little bit more time, because we don't include that, because you got to walk through it slower to decide what you want to pick. But as far as the pruning and the maintenance and mixing the fertilizer and everything, it's way less than an hour a day that we spend in the greenhouse right now. Granted, we do have the tanks. When I mix fertilizer, I mix it 500 to 700 gallons at a time. I'm building the little shed right now, and I have 3 totes that whenever I mix them, I mix it to fill up those 3 totes, and I'm good for about a week on it. They are taking up it's crazy the amount of water they're taking up. The best life, let's see, 7.2, you would have to get some pH down and adjust it. Mr. CB does have some videos on it. Jeff also has some videos on it. There's different things to be able to adjust it, to lower it. Some people use lemon juice. When I did do it in town, I was using actual pH down from a hydroponics store.
Did you see Robert's comment? 1219.
That one?
Yes.
I mean, if you watch Jandera, her system is set up, and I've spoke to her a couple times on her lives, and the amount of time she doesn't really spend a whole bunch of time with it. I'm not exactly sure with the temperatures and the different things, but she has an amazing setup going on with the aquaponics. Everybody, the temperatures make a big difference, because when you have high temperatures, you got to add more water to your system. You got evaporation. The plants use it from perspiration. So it's really, it's a one size fits all, but you have to learn how it is in your area.
Right. Hey, I turned the camera off because I want to get your, somebody in our community had somebody else vaping on screen, and YouTube stopped their live. That's what I
really.
That's what I heard. I wasn't there. but the
Uh,
person that told me I trust dearly, dearly,
right.
dearly. So
No worries.
I didn't want to light up a tobacco product.
Got you. Got you. No worries. I've
I'm
been
trying to
growing
cut down on how many channels I've had banned on YouTube. Is what I'm doing. I just one
I'm
a
not
week.
worried. I'm not worried. I get banned and I'll start another one. It's too much fun not to. I've been growing for right at 5 years with the hydroponics. This is the best year that we've had. Not only myself, but at Pop's place. It really is a bump a year for us with the hydroponics for the tomatoes.
Awesome,
He's
awesome.
growing in one of the troughs. He's growing okra, picking plenty of okra. We picked some garlic last time when I was off rotation. We picked some garlic out of the hydroponics. Everything just seems to, it grows well. It really does. If you're going to be growing hydroponics in a greenhouse, you will have other issues with bug pressure and everything like that. If you have when you have an ideal system or an ideal setting for your plants to grow, you also have an ideal setting for bugs to grow. So, you really have to keep up with your maintenance on that. We try to spray BT once a week and neem oil another time, like, let's see, we spray BT one week, then neem oil the other week, and then we go back and forth. We actually had some other products that we were going to try using this year, but we haven't needed to.
Let me ask you, and you know me, man. I'm not hesitant to use like sevens. What I'll use it. Can you hear me? Because my
Yeah, I can
phone's
hear
on.
you.
Yeah, I'll use some sevens, man, in a heartbeat. So this isn't let's all be organic and sing kumbaya. But can you introduce friends like ladybugs? Can you put ladybugs in a greenhouse and then they perpetuate themselves through reproduction? Can you introduce a bug culture where you balance out all that stuff?
Let's see. You can. I mean, you could purchase. Hold on. Lions Crest, what's up, Farmer G, brother? Thanks for stopping by. Um, and let's see one other.
Farmer G's here.
I'm sorry, Farmer Q. See the video with the
Oh,
tomatoes and jungle. I was surprised by the garlic. Um, yeah, the tomatoes are just amazing this year. And going back to what Jules said, you can add beneficial insects to the greenhouse. The ladybugs will. My issue with the ladybugs ain't cheap. By the time you get here, by the time you get them to you, they're not cheap to get. And if your bugs are able to find a way in, they'll be able to find a way out. And the ladybugs will stay there to a certain point with the aphids, pretty much, and then they'll fly away, or they won't have food to eat. So
okay.
and other people have had better results than some of the people I've watched by introducing them. But as far as neem oil is considered organic, BT or spinoside is considered organic. So, I'm not worried about if it's organic or not, because I use chemical fertilizers in the hydroponics. I have read that some people do use organic fertilizers and they're having better results with it, but I can't see spending 25, 30 cents a gallon on
Right.
fertilizer for it to be organic when I could spend 3 to 5 cents a gallon and, way outproduce it. So,
Well,
but I do,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say my thing is, I use chemical fertilizers, but I try not to use chemical pesticides. Um, the chemical pesticides scare me, with what they're putting in it and the issues they've had with it. You don't see anything on TV telling you, that there's a class action suit for chemical fertilizers, but you see stuff all over the internet and everything for different types of chemical pesticides. So I try to stay from them.
Yeah, I was gonna say um, Chicken Johnny
Yes.
a couple months ago in a live, basically for fertilizers. NPK is an element. It's actually an element, so it doesn't really matter whether it's organic or not, because at the end of the line, it's an element. You can't create that element. But yeah, so you don't trust sevens?
You mean
Sevens
like
Russ?
it's not that I don't trust it. It's just something I've never had to really use. The last year with the outside garden, we kept it going. Around the middle of July, the bugs were just overly infested and everything with it. We used the liquid bear product, or they've actually changed the name now. It's not bear anymore. They still have the same little emblem, but it's not bear. So we used that. We sprayed it 1 week. Then we went back to the neem oil and stuff for another month, and then we sprayed it one more time. I'm just not a big proponent of going out and spraying it when I don't need it.
Right.
And it really seems that the neem oil and the BT held up well enough to keep us going.
Well, I might try some of that. I'll say here, brassicas, other than lettuce, but collard greens, cabbage,
Right.
and then summer squash and winter squash. You pretty much have to hit it, or you're not going to get anything.
Well, with the squash is the same thing over here, but with the rain we get, we'd have to spray it with the BT, with the the pesticides. We'd have to spray it at least twice a week to be able to keep it off, because the rain will wash it off.
Yeah.
So we did well enough last year to feed us. We're not going to have enough to give away. We planted 14 plants of zucchini and squash, and we had enough for us pretty much the whole year. The vine borers would get in, they'd eat it, but the plant was big enough that it was actually sitting on the ground, and it would reroot itself further down. So, another week or two, we'd start getting more zucchini off of it or squash off of it, and it would cat's going crazy.
Yeah, I'm about ready to give up on summer squash, man. Just what I do, small space and marginal benefit, marginal cost. We only have so much space, so we got to think about what's the best thing. Like, say, if we had a 4x8 and we could grow garlic or run some winter squash out of there,
Right.
To spill out, we would go winter squash just because the pounds. You're going to get more value out of it. I'm not saying we don't grow garlic. I'm just giving an example. We got to think about stuff like that. So I'm thinking about giving up on summer squash. It takes up a lot of space, and it's a constant battle with the pests around here. It's nice to have a good run on zucchini, obviously.
Yeah.
But then there's the opportunity cost. I could have had more tomatoes, or I could have had more beans, or I could have had more cucumbers. So we really got to think it through in our backyard.
I'm trying to remember. Somebody was, and I've been seeing it on Facebook also. People are actually growing the zucchini up a stick. Let me say, hey, Free Handling Mate, thank you for stopping by.
I think
Thank
that was
you.
Ginger. You talking about Ginger Ninja, zucchini up a stick?
It's not Ginger Ninja. I'm trying to think of the lady. I'm not even sure if it's in the United States, but she's grown them up a stick. And like I said, I've seen it on a lot of different, on Facebook. I haven't seen it really besides her on YouTube. But it does seem to have a lot less bug pressure because she removes the leaves as the plant gets bigger. And some people's actually, and I've heard of that before, they wrap pantyhose around the base of it to keep the bugs off. Supposedly the vine borers can't get into the vine to be able to lay their eggs if it's wrapped with pantyhose. I'm not sure if she does that, but it is
Interesting.
There's a lot of different ways, but yeah, growing them up a stick looks like it really they take up a lot less room as they're doing it, because after the fruit's cut off, the leaves continue to grow on the backside of it. So you're using up a lot of nutrients that you don't need. The
Thank you, Kiki. She says do them in the fall.
the
She says,
zucchini.
yeah, she says grow zucchini in the fall, third season.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try that. We actually planted the broccoli and everything. We planted it a little late last year. We actually never fertilized it, never watered it, and never had to put out any type of spray it with anything. We actually forgot about it. I was working a lot and everything. Pretty much forgot about it. The begin. What what are you looking to grow? Um, Paula and Randy. What types of plants are you looking to grow in it? If you're looking to grow leafy vegetables, there's different types, different things you can do. As far as buying a kit, if you're slightly able to build things, it would be a much cheaper to build than it is to buy.
And you can teach yourself to build things.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's really not. Um, Yep, wrapping it with aluminum foil works good against vine borers also.
Huh. Okay.
It's amazing the stuff they have out there. Zucchini is not a big thing around here because people end up with not, we don't get we don't end up with a normal harvest. You pick 3 or 4 zucchini off of it, then most of the time the bugs will kill the plants. So, you know, people just put them in there to get their little bit of zucchini off of it. Then they'll pull them out, plant some beans or plant some okra or different things like that.
We just did exactly what you said.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened this year. So we got a space, and I might not plant anything there. I might just let it rest. Okay, wait. Let me say something real quick. Canadian proud. I saw that comment. Yeah, we're in the same boat, man.
I was trying to. You're talking about the one with the small space?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would take the whole backyard, but I'm not allowed to.
I just started taking every time she showed up. There was more stuff gone. She got enough. She can. The wife can get by the. She can lounge out by the bayou and the fire pit, and there's next year there's gonna be less room. Hopefully, we got a spot we want to put in for some corn and some beans.
Hey! Have you? And I don't care one or the other. You know my channel's about. I know life is busy. Have you seen my corn in that whiskey barrel?
I haven't.
I've got 11 stalks in a 25-gallon whiskey barrel. I've got tassels. I've got silks. We're getting that close. We're getting close. And if it hits, if we get corn out of that,
that's amazing.
For those that don't know my channel, I do a lot of experimentation. Just try crazy stuff that most people wouldn't even. I push the limits. Anyway, if that corn hits, I'm going to grab me about 4 of those things, right? 4 of those whiskey barrels. 4 more. I've got 2. So I get it up to 6. So I'm thinking, what's that? 60 stalks. So you're talking about 120 to possibly 240. 2 to 4 ears, right? Per stalk, something like that. That'd be plenty, man. Just in a whiskey barrel, I mean, you got to throw their money in there first, get that dirt right. But
yeah. What type of fertilizers setup do you have with it?
All right, so same go-to, man. I start everything with a good dose of 100% cow manure.
Okay.
Right, and I throw down my 10, 10, 10, just get the foundation. To make sure every element's present.
Right.
And then I'm hitting it with, and I just hit it actually yesterday with blood meal, get the nitrogen in there.
Right.
From what I understand, corn likes
a
to
lot.
Eat. Yeah. So, and it's espoma, it's organic. It's blood meal. I guess all blood meal is organic, but I use espoma as much as possible because everything they put out's organic. And they've been around, I think, since the 20s, about 100 years now, something like that. They were organic before it was a thing, I mean, they put out some good stuff. I use their tomato tone. I swear by their tomato tone. Throw rocks at Miracle Grow. Miracle Grow's tomato stuff, man. It's all jacked up on nitrogen. I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't need all that nitrogen later.
Well, a lot of people end up with the Miracle Grow because it makes such pretty plants, and then they're stuck with beautiful plants and no fruit. You know, they make 12-foot tall tomato plants and make 10 pounds of tomatoes off of the plants.
Yeah.
It's the Master Blend formula. You know, you take it, even people using it outside. Mr. Donald, the web Cajun or the Bayou Gardener on his forum, he would actually use the Master Blend formula out in his garden. He would mix it up and he'd go out there and he'd put it, and it was amazing what he grew with. Really was. And in fact, on one of the lives, that's how John got hooked with the Roundup. You know, the last Bayou Gardener get together. Thanks for stopping by, Canadian Proud. Thank you. Garden time. John was talking about it. I'm like, yeah. I said, you know, at the last get together, he told everybody his secret. And John's like, oh, well, tell me. And so I'm like, no. Okay, John, this is just for you. And Jan was there. She put her hand. And I'm like, so I went through the process twice. And then I'm like, yeah, and then you got to add a tablespoon of Roundup. And he's like, Roundup. So, yeah. That's how he started getting called Roundup Johnny.
I will say, though, throwing that stuff on azaleas, I mean, you know, again, you can get holly tone or whatever they call that stuff, but Miracle Grow does work good for azalea. I mean, if you want a beautiful plant, it's got the mix for it, but their vegetable stuff, I just can't. I used to, but I can't anymore.
You can use it, but then you still got to add the tomato tone, you know, the high P and the K. You know, it's not set up to be able to grow tomatoes nice.
Fruit.
You know, fruit. It does great. I mean, you use it in an NFT growing lettuce, it will do well, really well.
Oh, heck, I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, anything green you want to use Miracle Grow probably because it's jacked up on nitrogen.
Yep.
I think the one for tomatoes is sitting on a 24. Something like that.
The nitrogen set on a 24?
Yeah, it's like 24, whatever, 8, 12, I don't know, but it's pretty high.
The Master Blend is 438, 14, I think it is.
Woo! Yes, sir.
And then you add the calcium nitrate is, you know, you're adding it the same as the Master Blend. So you bumping it up probably, I don't remember what the numbers are, but, you know, you're getting quite a bit more nitrogen into it. Then you add the Epsom salt.
Right.
You actually, for the Master Blend, you know, I had started talking about this earlier before Jules came up, and I kind of got off task with it, like most of the stuff I do. Master Blend is super easy. If you could make chocolate milk, you can mix the Master Blend. You know, it's set up with the tablespoons or half tablespoons, and you know, you take your gallon of water and you can mix it. It's super easy. The main thing is don't let it overwhelm you. You know, the Master Blend mix is super easy. You basically a half a tablespoon of Master Blend, a half a tablespoon of calcium nitrate, and a quarter tablespoon of Epsom salt, and you got you a gallon of fertilizer mix. You know, you can put it in your that should be right around 800 ppms, I think it is, or 600. Sunday Backyard Farmer, what's up, brother? Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, Kiki, that's what caught my attention. Yeah, that's jacked up.
Yep. The Master Blend, yeah.
Well, I'll be right back.
All right.
I'm not leaving the screen. Let me hit that.
That's fine. Anyone else that wants to jump on, y'all are more than welcome. We can bring up to 4 people up here. We can try more, but it usually gets a little congested with everybody trying to talk. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? If so, I'm so sorry. But yeah, Paula and Randy, that we can get up there and we can talk, and it sounds like it's so hard. I'm an old dumb Cajun, and it's super easy with the master blend, and you can adjust it a little bit more, a little bit less. But basically, if you take that system, the half tablespoon of master blend, half tablespoon of calcium nitrate, quarter tablespoon of Epsom salt, you mix it with a gallon of water. If your pH is right, you can dump it and you can get growing. Really is something super easy to put together. If you can mix chocolate milk, you can mix master blend. It's not that hard at all. It does seem when we start talking about the ppms and and all the numbers and all kind of stuff, it seems like it takes you know way more work and like you said, a degree in something to be able to mix it, but it's not. It's set up for easy use. um I mix a 250-gallon tote of the fertilizer, and I take 3 cups of the master blend, 3 cups of, not like a regular cup, not just a drinking cup, the actual cups. I take 3 cups of the master blend, 3 cups of the calcium nitrate, and a cup and a half of the Epsom salt. I mix them up into the solution, into water separately. Then I dump them into the tank, and I put the tank on, let it circulate for 45 minutes to an hour, and open the valve, and it fills up into the tanks. The main thing is to know where your pH is when you start. I'm lucky enough to take the water from the property out the ground, and there's no adjusting. Once I add the fertilizer to it, the mixture, it's pretty much right where it needs to be. Yeah, Mr. Robert, you're right. I'm smart enough to keep doing what works, and it's and after you get used to it and you feel comfortable with the mixes, like I said, you can adjust it. When you get to certain points, if you want to raise your pH, like let's see, and when you got seedlings started, if you want to use it to water your seedlings, you don't want to have it at a 800 ppm on your first feeding. You want it somewhere around 400. So to do that, you mix it the same thing I just said, but instead of mixing it with 1 gallon, you mix it with 2 gallons. Your ppm should be right. It should be right at that 400 parts. If you want to make it 200, you mix it with 4 gallons of water, and you water your stuff with it like that. Simple math can break it down and adjust it as you need it. If you want it to be at 1200, a lot of the times different people suggest when you get to when your fruit starts, you want to bring your ppms up to 1200. So you would add a little bit to it. You could break down the half tablespoons into quarter tablespoons, and that should bring you up to like 3/4 of a tablespoon of master blend, 3/4 of a tablespoon of calcium nitrate, and a half a tablespoon of Epsom salt should bring you up around the 1200 ppm per gallon. So, some simple math can actually benefit you into figuring out what you need, but it's nowhere near rocket science. The yeah. Mr. Robert, I wouldn't say I'm smart enough to keep doing what I'm doing. That works. I'm just going to say I'm not dumb enough to try something different to mess it up. Lurking. I'm sure little John's lurking. He's probably lurking in the background trying to catch me doing something to suspend me again. I just got off a suspension again for Shed Wars.
I'm back. Sorry, I had to let that dog out. He's getting ready to bark. He's deaf. My old Chance, you might have seen him walking in the background there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's deaf, so when he barks, he's deaf, so it's loud. So I had to get him out of here or mute my mic, so he needed to go to the bathroom anyway.
I've got a 60-pound dog sitting at my feet right now because he's scared of the thunder outside.
Well, yeah. That's funny you said that. That dog there, he's 16 years old, and first time I took him out with my dad shooting, I was feeling good. I was feeling good, Danny, because he didn't show any anxiety. And closer we got to the truck, the more I had to hold my shoulder back so he didn't pull it out. And he's a short dude, man. And put that bed down, that tailgate, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That little dude, I mean, typically for that height, you'd have to pick him up. He was in the back of that truck quicker than
No problems, huh?
No problem. He did not like that gunfire. He just didn't express it. You know, I thought, all right, I got a dog that's not gun shy. But he was more gun terrified.
He was so scared he wasn't moving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, Mr. Robert, I didn't plant any okra this year. Just didn't have time.
What?
So,
come on. You still got time, Danny.
no, I mean, I have time if I planted it. I just don't have time to plant it. I really need to finish. With the little building I'm building, is Cajun. Quiet. With the little building I'm building, I need to keep the light off of the fertilizer. So I'm building the little caban, we call it, to keep, I'm going to have 250-gallon totes for mixed fertilizer. And then I'm going to have three on the opposite side of the building for fresh water. And then I'm going to have 3 totes of fresh water on the trailer. That way it should give me a pretty easy setup for 2 weeks with all of that. Right. So, you know, I need to finish that. I have to keep the sun off of the totes with the fertilizer in it because the algae gets in them. And once the algae gets in them, you got to pressure wash it to get it out. Almost got to get in there and scrub. But it also, it'll clog up your lines. When it does finally die, it'll clog up your lines. But it also will reduce the ppms. It eats the fertilizer in your tanks. So I'm really trying to get that finished up quick. That's what I was working on today before the rain got too hard for me to be out there messing with it.
Yeah, we cut ours back. Last year we had 16. This year we got 7.
Plants?
Yeah. We were covered up in okra and ate a bunch, put up a bunch, then let a bunch just go. I mean, there was so much of it, which is a good, you know, I'd rather it be that situation than the opposite. But that bed over there last year, that one by the shed, I just need to annihilate it, start over, and wait for the fall season. It's a mess. I made some mistakes over there with my mulch.
Right.
I used some neighbors' leaf mulch, and I think it introduced a lot of pests. Annihilated a lot of stuff I had going on, but not the okra. So
okra's hard to kill. In Pop's greenhouse, we did great with cucumbers the first year in the greenhouse. Then we hadn't been able to grow it with the aphids after that. He planted the okra in there, and you could see the okra was slap full of aphids. The aphids don't affect the okra enough to be able to see. Right. And it actually kept the aphids off of the cucumbers till recently. He did great with it. You know, kind of like a sacrificial plant.
Yeah, a little trap crop.
Right. But besides that, hey, Q Kitchen and Beyond, good seeing you.
Oh, wow. I haven't seen Q Kitchen in forever.
Mr. Bill, Little White Dory, how's it going, brother? Anyone that wants to come up and visit, tell us about what y'all got going on or any types of questions, y'all are more than welcome.
I think I just figured out why Jeff's not up here. He's working, huh?
Yeah, yeah, he's working.
That's right. This is Tuesday.
I'm so lost on my days.
I've been flying the desk since March of 2020, man. I've been to my workplace twice.
Wow.
I'm going to go in there and my keys might not work. I know I'll be able to turn that computer on. They got that BitLocker crap, you know, the password before you enter your password, and it's freaking, you know, 6 Canadian, blah, blah. I mean, all this garbly gook. I have no idea what that is. And I don't write that stuff down for obvious reasons. It's kind of pointless if you write the number and stick it on the laptop. We use laptops and docking stations, you know.
Right.
And they just stick it on the bottom of the laptop. So, well, then what did you just take it off then? You know, if you got a BitLocker number and you want me to put it on the locker, then anybody could open the locker. You know, it's just a strange system. So I'll probably have to turn that into the IT department and say, hey, get this working again. They're going to look at me funny, and I'll say, I've been here twice in a year and a half, man.
You still work there?
Yeah, we thought she retired.
When I worked in Ohio, that was the same system they had. Let's see, the docking station and everything. But what I would do, I'd put my password into 4 different pieces at different corners of my laptop. And I always went from, right, bottom left, bottom right, top left. That way it was always put together. I mean, if you tried hard enough, you could figure it out. It's not that hard. It wouldn't take many times. But it always said like password 1 because we had to have 30 keys in the password to be able to get it. So, it was like password 1, password 2, password 3, and password 4.
Oh my gosh.
I would set it up. And let's see. Somebody.
We got people saying they're killing okra.
That's hard to believe you kill okra. We got Mr. Bill's going to come and join us.
Can't find where there's my camera.
Let's see.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Kind of freezing up a little bit, Mr. Bill.
Yep, little freeze,
Okay.
little freeze.
Probably not much I can do about that.
Maybe
You on the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Oh, you got a bad freeze. It's about every 10 seconds. Oh, there he goes.
Well,
Homestead
I was going to go
Express,
outside,
right.
but maybe I have to be inside. Can you hear me? Am I coming through? How's things doing?
Yep. You're doing a lot better now.
Okay. Very good. Well, just sit here in the kitchen. It just started to rain out here, so just as well.
Oh, I was just getting ready to say, it doesn't look like you're getting the weather. It's dark out. Dark and rainy here.
The rain kind of stopped over here, but I'm enjoying the visit, so it's kind of hard to get back to work and then go work in the mud.
It's coming down here like it's Louisiana, I tell you.
And where are you at?
We haven't had rain, though, in so long. It's crazy.
Mr. Bill's up around New York, Long Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
Island.
Thank you, Stinky Puddle Ranch.
Fruit trees. Don't get me started.
Notice that I can't see the YouTube stuff. That's my problem.
Oh, the comments?
Yeah.
You should have. Are you on a phone or a PC? Bill,
Mr. Bill, you on a phone or a PC?
I'm on a tablet. Yeah.
Yeah.
On an iPad.
Oh, I don't know about a tablet.
Yeah,
I
it's
know on
hard
a
to see the.
phone, You can get to the comments, but it's not obvious.
When you get to the comments on it, you can't see the picture's not up on the phone.
Right.
You could do one or the other.
Yeah.
Kiki, you're not still in Long Island though, right? You moved. Keep bragging about your rain. I'm not bragging about it. I don't want no rain.
Yeah, I've been to 3 funerals, 3 birthdays, 6 weekends out of 12. The rain around here is so heavy that it affects things, not just that day, but the next day. Certain things you can't do because, like you just said, it's too muddy, too wet. It's been a weird year for rain down here in Carolina where I'm at. I think it was April we had less than an inch. And then we got 7 in May. Probably getting close to that now. I don't know, spring was kind of messed up. Had a lot of rain in March, no rain in April when we need it. Somebody brought up fruit trees. We grow a Bruce plum, which is early bloom, early drop, you know, so we're right on the edge where you can get by with it.
Right.
But we had late March and the middle of April, we had back to back freezes. So four total. Four total. 2 nights in March, 2 nights in April. And I still saw, you know, the buds, the fruits, like, all right, we made it. Nope. They're all gone. So we're not getting any fruit. Well, we're not getting any plums. We've got grapes, but
Yeah. I didn't mess with my blackberries out at the property for last year. And I went from like 80 plants to I think we got 7 left.
really,
Yeah, I didn't prune them, and leaf miners got in. Not the leaf miners, the vine borers got in and just killed them all.
oh man.
So, Mr. Bill, how's your plants doing? You selling some?
Not yet today. Been kind of
Not
crummy
yet.
day, but I just figured it's as easy for me to let Mother Nature water the tomato plants than me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So I'm happy that it's raining. I mean, it's making my life easy, but nobody gonna be out buying tomato plants today.
How many you have left? Yeah.
Probably about 250, 300 maybe.
It's not bad. You had quite a few.
Yeah, I sold more than I sold last year.
Nice.
I would have liked to have sold more, but who wouldn't, right?
All right.
So my dog's over here barking. He doesn't know what he wants. He wants some attention.
Gumbo.
Yeah.
He hears his accent from his namesake. It's a
There
pretty
he
dog.
is. He doesn't know what he's doing.
He's like, that
Yeah, he's
accent
lazy.
sounds so familiar.
What's that?
I said his accent. He says that accent sounds so familiar.
Well, he came from the Tex-Mex border, so who knows? Maybe he had a little something going on down there.
Your garlic's looking good, also, Mr. Bill.
Yeah, I pulled all my scapes, and I'm using an app that's like a local neighborhood thing called Nextdoor. Hey, come on. And I put an ad out saying that I've got garlic scapes available, and then I was surprised. A lot of people said, "Oh, really? When can I come get them?" So I was hoping that it would be today, but that's what happens.
Right.
You think it's going to be good, and then you get pouring rain all day, or at least it's been since about noon. So I got out. I set up early. Figured, well, if somebody's going to come early, I got to be out there now because I advertised. Nobody shows, so it'll the people that see it or that comment on it and say they're looking for it will eventually show up, but not at the moment.
Hey, Danny.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I
Can you
just
put-
took out 12 more trays, filled them, and I'm going to seed flowers into them now, hopefully to get them growing enough to sell them before the summer's over.
Nice.
Do all kinds of different stuff. Actually, it's more almost like an experiment to see what grows, what doesn't. I don't know what I'm doing.
Hey, come over
My
to my
Dasher
channel.
2s are taking off.
The Dasher 2s. Yeah,
Yep.
the Dasher 2s, man, you're going to be surprised with what they produce. I really think you will.
Good.
What you were going to ask, Jules?
Toss me in the basement. I got to go pick my wife up. She's trying to get back.
Okay.
She walked to work knowing it's going to rain all day, so I got to go grab her real quick. I'll
See
be
if I
back.
can figure out.
Yeah, I can't hear Jules' audio. It's very low.
I don't know. All I can see. Oh, let's see, maybe.
I think.
Oh, nope.
No. Let me see. Let me hit remove.
I can hear
can
you
keep-
fine, Danny.
There you go. Was that
I can hear you fine, but I can't hear him. I can hear him, but it's very, very low.
very low? But he's gonna be out for a little while. Man, we got all kind of freaking tomatoes right now, Mr. Bill. I did see that you're planning on putting your greenhouse up.
I'm making progress. I got the area cleared. I keep looking at it. One of these days, I'll get motivated. I keep going back and forth what I want to do on the floor. If I want to just leave it dirt, or I'll put down like patio stones, or even just maybe get concrete, get cement. Because if I don't do this for a long time, I could use it. If I have a pad there, I figure I could turn it into like a little a garden around it and have just a place to sit. I don't know.
Right.
I'm-
There's all
I
kind
think
of
I'm-
things.
I think they're going to be burying me here in the backyard. So who knows? Maybe I should spend some time making it happy here instead of trying to get off this crazy island. But,
Let me tell a couple people hi. Hey, Peanut Peppers, how's it going, brother? Eric, good to see you, man. Good to see you, Eric. How's it going, brother? You walk there, you walk home. Yeah, I think you're really gonna enjoy the greenhouse. You know, if you get it put up, I really think you're gonna like it, and it's gonna help tremendously. As far as the Dasher 2 cucumbers, you're gonna start seeing. So you should see some really good production off of them. You can make a lot of people happy with them.
well, I'll tell you another funny story. Remember when you started talking about the red pepper, and we didn't? I don't remember if we knew what it was, but it turned out to be a red Marconi.
Right.
So I had started a tray of them, didn't even know it. So when I was, read what you had, I quickly went out and I was looking. I was like, oh, maybe they're pretty good. I'll get a pack, So I see where I can get some. So I did. It was like $7 for a regular pack, But I figured I'd give them a try. I put them in. They all germinated. They all did great. And I probably only have 2 or 3 of them left. I sold them all. I have a bunch in my garden.
Right.
But they're producing fruit in my little solo cups. They're doing well. So hopefully the ones that are in the garden will get better nutrients and really be productive. We'll see.
It should.
Looking forward. But I'm telling you, the cucumbers I'm billing them as Cajun cucumbers.
Cajun
I'm gonna
cucumbers.
charge extra.
Take you a needle and some of the Tony Sacheries and inject it with Tony Sacheries before you sell it to them.
That's it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll have a little shot. So I hit of this and they did take a cucumber.
Hey, Bitty Boo's Homestead, thank you for stopping by. I don't know about Cajun, but they do produce well. It's amazing. They make about 85% female flowers. It's a really good tasting tomato. I had serious issues with them in the raised beds this year. We finally seem to be getting a few of them to start producing, but we didn't get nowhere near what we should have. We might have picked 35 pounds, 40 pounds of cucumbers, if I'm thinking about it right. It might be 100 pounds.
I'd say that for us here, it's only when the nights stay up at around 70 degrees. They're
going to love that.
Because up until now, they've been just kind of, growing slow, just 2 or 3 leaves. Well, last 3 or 4 days, all of a sudden, they started to run.
Took off. Yep, that's good.
I don't know what this dog. Would you tell him to shut up in Cajun?
See you later, Kiki. Thank you for stopping by. Shut up.
He keep saying to you.
Ça c'est fit du tête de quand même ouais. I can't repeat what that means in English.
He's
They're
just
gonna
standing there looking at me and barking.
Yeah, he's just jealous because you're talking to somebody else.
Yeah, it's probably true. He wants to go outside, but if I let him out, it's so wet right now. He'll want to come back in 5 minutes, and it'll be a disaster.
Be all dirty.
Yeah. And he just went to the groomer and got him a bath it's about a week now, so maybe it doesn't smell so good anymore.
Eric, what's the other varieties you planted, man? The other varieties of cucumbers.
For me?
No, Eric. Eric had said he planted the Dasher 2s also. He got, and he planted 4 other varieties. So I was just wondering what he got, what other kinds. I'm trying to be a little bit more, pay a little bit better attention to the comments. Yeah. I tend to get in here and we start visiting, and I've been trying to do a little bit better.
Well, I didn't expect it to be 2 hours, but then again, I should have known it was you.
Well, I was waiting. I wasn't in no hurry because of the rain. It was raining pretty good, and the rain stopped. So I'm gonna probably give us about 2.5 hours, so about another 25 minutes, and then I'll go back and try to get started again. It's easy to keep a live going when we got people to visit with. It's hard when it's just me by myself. Yeah. The first hour was rough. They did have some good questions, and we talked about some stuff, but it's still hard to keep it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it takes a personality. It takes having shtick, you know, having stuff to talk about. If there's nobody to talk with.
It's hard. Some people get on there and they talk. You know, they'll have 60 people in the chat, and you know, with a few questions, but they got stuff to talk about, and I'm not able to do that. I get off task so easy. That's what I said. I'm trying to be more conscious about watching the chat going on, see if there's any questions, because I get off task and just start visiting.
Yeah. Let me give my dog a treat here so he stop bothering me.
All right. See if I missed any. Hey there, Garden State Gardener. Thank you for stopping by, brother. Oh.
Ouch. Now,
I was
keep
about-
quiet.
I was about to buy some cilantro seeds, and I want to pack Sunday from Garden State Gardener. I'm excited. I didn't have to get them.
I got some of that going into trays today.
Some cilantro.
Yep.
Tell me about that. I've tried to look at some videos on how they grow it. You're going to be growing it in the dirt, correct?
No, I'm going to put it in these. I'm going to try it in the little compressed peat pellets.
Okay.
So when I started this, I bought different kinds of trays, different kinds of things. I didn't know what I was doing. And one of the things I bought was like a, you know how they have like 50 cells, 72 cells, and so on. So one of them was 36, but it was meant to hold like 2-inch square pots,
right,
in a 10 by 20 tray. Well, they're pretty useless, but I didn't know that at the time. So I'm trying to come up with something where I could just sell them right out of those little cups, because I've been just taking them out, transplanting, and then, you know, cleaning the cup and using it again. It's a little heavier plastic, but I've decided they're not worth it. I don't need them. So what I did was I just put one of those little bucks in it, let it expand, and I'll grow something into that. And I'm actually going to put a little like soil over the top of the Jiffy Puck after I put the seeds in.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to try to germinate some stuff and get it growing in those, so I can just sell them right out of that little black 2x2, you know, pot.
Yeah.
For I don't know, for $1 or $1.50. I don't know. I have no idea what I should ask for. Maybe $2. I have no idea.
You're putting one seed per pot. I've never grown it. That's why I'm trying to.
Oh well, for cilantro, I would probably do a couple of seeds. I wouldn't bank on just one. Although you know you can get good germination rates. That's not so bad. But cilantro is something that you kind of do it in clusters. You know, when you grow it, once you get it in the ground, it tends to be a little cluster.
I ain't worried about that, Jules. I'm sorry, Jules.
You surprised me. No. That's a real thing, man. I think it was Lazy Acre, Scott. The YouTube just decided to take them off and then gave them a warning and said none of that on screen.
Okay.
Robert did say in the comments earlier when I said that, that YouTube's cutting down on that, what you're actually doing on screen, and that tobacco and vape use falls into that category all of a sudden. I
can understand that.
Yeah. I mean, and really you don't want to be a bad influence on children.
Right. I mean, even on Netflix now, if you watch Netflix and they're smoking in it, they tell you to be, you know, whenever they bring everything else up, smoking in the movie. You know, like the violence and, you know, all that stuff, gore, and smoking. Smoking's always the last one. If somebody's smoking in the movie, they're going to tell you about it.
Hey, Joe. Yeah, I don't know. We're the same age. We went through the same thing. First was smoking areas in restaurants. Then no smoking in restaurants, smoke outside, and now,
bottom left.
You know, you can be sitting in your car on certain properties and still can't smoke. You know, it's just like, nanny state. I mean, people make their own decisions, right? But I don't disagree with what they're doing, because you do have children watching, and you know, you shouldn't be influencing kids to take up a bad habit, really.
Right.
So I don't disagree, but it was a surprise, because, you know, I've been on YouTube for years and years before this channel. Well, I have 2 channels, you know, and I've seen all kinds of stuff, and now they've gone, yeah, you will the best life, you will, but it's like a loitering law. They deploy it when they feel like it.
They probably don't like something else you're talking about, so he's smoking, so we're going to shut him down.
Yeah, it's mostly robotic anyway. It's just an
Right.
algorithm. They pick it up, see something.
Well, Jeff did his video this morning on a grow light from Spider Farms, and they flagged it not for kids, so you couldn't leave the comments or something on it like that. So he had to send it. Just because the algorithm picked it up.
I never know what to check off, and I don't check anything off.
I check off not for kids because it's not for kids.
I don't check anything off, and nobody's ever questioned it.
Well, it's going to be a little bit different once you start. If you get monetized or you get to that, you're going to have to start checking one or the other one. But it's not, if you don't have kids in it either, it's not a big deal about it. They're cracking down with the kids. Like Colt likes to be in the videos and stuff like that from time to time. We don't let him do it often. He'll take the camera 4 or 5 times a week and just walk around the yard. But every time we put a video up like that with it, they block the comments, and there's a whole bunch. It's weird.
Well, the bottom line is, I'm a pretty libertarian dude, and this is their business, and so they get to make the rules.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's as simple as that. They get to make the rules. This isn't a public square. I've seen that argument, but actually, they get to make the rules. So.
Yeah. You don't like it, you can move on. It's like somebody comes to my house and don't like my rules. Would you just leave? It's my house. You're welcome to be here, but if we don't get along, we're not gonna.
I had a friend that was on had a music channel, and he had one of those animated birds that would talk back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a bird. He called it Birdie. And his channel had a lot of not for children stuff on it, but his songs were legit. But just and because of that birdie, YouTube got on him because of the birdie.
Really?
Yeah. And there's another buddy of mine was doing Army Man Wars, so like I could invite Bill, say, Bill, you want to be inducted? And yeah, I'll be inducted. And I make a video and blow up an army man and pretend it's Bill, and then he'd make one and return the favor. YouTube got on him. He couldn't post anything. He got to the point where anything he posted wouldn't get posted.
Cool.
So he had to go through the bureaucracy and say, hey, this is for adults. I'm even putting it not for kids. And they were still hitting him because it had toy army men in the video, and they were blowing them up with firecrackers and stuff.
Yeah, it's hard, but it's theirs. We gotta follow their rules. It is fun. You meet a lot of great people on it, so it's kind of hard to walk away from it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm reading in the comments that somebody's talking about, I guess, smoking and alcohol. A few years back, when I learned to fly, my flight instructor, who was a chain smoker, got in the airplane, looked at the dashboard and said, "Oh, great, it's got an ashtray. That means I can smoke." So he did the whole time.
Oh,
it's kind of funny.
The helicopter pilots offshore used to smoke when I first started.
Well, I can remember. I can remember college professors smoking in class too.
Absolutely, yeah. Pipes were big when I was in college, and cigarettes. I had a guy, history professor. He could take a cigarette. He would smoke a cigarette after class, and kids would come up and ask him questions, and he'd set that butt on top of the table, that cherry straight up, vertical.
Right.
Just sitting there burning like incense, Nowadays, he couldn't even smoke on campus. And probably sitting in his own car, he couldn't smoke on campus.
Nope. If you're on school property over here, it's like a $300 fine, tobacco use. Hey, Miss Wanda, Louisiana style, how you doing? Kaleidoscope Junkie, I'm sorry I missed you earlier. Thank y'all for stopping by. Yeah, it's bad. But back to when Mr. Bill gets back with cilantro, I'm looking to start growing some cilantro. You got any tips on that, Jules?
Yeah, my tip is don't worry about it. Just buy it from the store. You gonna start making salsa in bulk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah. I
Oh,
put up.
okay.
Well, not right now. I want to see. I want to find the flavor I have, but as far as right now, we put up 5 gallons of tomatoes. Well, we processed it, and it's in the freezer right now. We're gonna make the salsa when it cools off a little bit, so we don't have to heat the house up so much.
Well, all I would say then is inside somewhere. You want to keep it from bolting because then you got coriander. You don't have
Right.
cilantro. Unless that's what you want. I mean, if you want coriander, but
No.
that stuff's quick to bolt up here in Carolina, so I'm sure it is down there.
I read the ingredients on my pasta sauce and decided to grow as many as possible. As many what? Tomatoes or
Probably cilantro.
cilantro?
I just find most herbs are slow to get rolling. I guess I'll put my face up here since Billy's there. Hey, now he's back.
Yeah. Now I can
Around
hear
here,
him too.
it's
That's weird.
slow to get rolling, and then it's quick to get bolting if it's outside. So, I mean, we grow it, but around here for us, it's oregano, sage, thyme, rosemary, parsley, cilantro, and dill. But cilantro is always an issue here. Trying to get enough of it as cilantro instead of coriander.
Yeah.
But any herb though, Jules Small Garden speaking here, our whole garden starts with the kitchen. So we grow herb for the kitchen.
For the
as
kitchen.
And as far as like comparing it to grocery store prices, it's very economical to grow your own herbs. I mean, you pay a lot for a little bit of herbs, and you can grow. I had a 4x4 chunk of oregano last year. If you bought that from the store, it probably would have been about $100-$200. I mean, we're talking 4x4 square and 4 foot tall. A bunch of oregano, a lot of oregano.
I've had people ask me that.
What do you do with that much oregano?
We dried it all out and jarred it up. Sent some to a friend up in Ohio. Yep.
I have the guy I picked up my totes from asked me if I grew dill, and I said I never have. It's something I do want to grow this winter. There's somebody locally that is actually processing crawfish. I don't remember exactly how, but they're pickling crawfish to send overseas. Apparently, it's a big deal, and they're trying to find a local place to get dill from instead of buying it. I'm like, oh, I'm not even going to mess with that. But I do want to try growing it to where I can have it for pickles and stuff. We want to start doing pickles next year, and dill's expensive.
Yes.
Dill is extremely expensive.
Yeah, we didn't put in enough this year. Supposedly, dill will mitigate tomato growth. So you got to pull it, before.
Oh, okay.
Mature.
Is that right?
I did.
We didn't have to pull it because the tomatoes annihilated it. They're done. The tomatoes won that cage match. And they get out of here.
Hey there, Geeky Gardens. Thank you. Slow bolt. Look for slow bolt varieties.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna try the cilantro in the dining room this winter.
Right in the winter. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I gotta go let that dog out.
I find that if I get enough of it going in a mostly shady area, a little bit of sun maybe, but mostly shady and kind of well drained but well watered, that it does well. But going into the summer, it doesn't take long for it to bolt. That's true.
Yeah. Well, we're down in Carolina, like above Charlotte, so it heats up real quick here, and that stuff just takes off. And now, I was going to bring that up. See Robert's comment there?
Right.
Yeah, dill will.
Jules, are you a commercial farmer?
Oh no, 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 no. I'm a small space backyard gardener and an economist, so I focus on marginal benefit, marginal cost, get as much out of something as you can, kind of stuff.
We were actually looking to for the salsa, what I can use to chop the salsa up faster. I did whatever 30 pounds of it with a Vidalia onion chopper, and that took way too long. So we were looking online and found a couple different types of choppers and machines to do it. Oh my god, I'm going nuts. The cat's chasing the dog.
Proof that that's not a green screen.
It's not. But I'm actually going to give it a shot with my meat grinder, my meat processing grinder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give it a shot for to pass it through. There's some 3/8 cutters, knives on it, and then there's also another knife. It looks like 3 kidney beans on it, so it'll be a little bit larger. So the next set that we do, we're going to pass it through the grinder and see if it works. Oh my god.
No, that'll happen there.
Yeah, the low or makes sense. Set it low and low.
The weather's making the animals nuts. I can't believe we still got 16 people in here.
It's
Choose the lawnmowers.
Set it low.
Target room.
Briggs and Stratton harvester.
I'm sure by the end of the week we're going to have another 30 or 40 pounds we're going to have to process. There's no way we're going to be able to eat it all.
And what are you doing with it? Freezing it, Danny?
Yeah, we chopped up 30-something pounds this weekend and put it in the freezer to make salsa with. I'm going to pause this for a second.
Live is live, baby. Can you hear me, Billy?
Yes, I can.
So,
I guess
what
still,
else?
Yeah.
Other than all those tomatoes, what else are you growing? You do green beans and whatnot, or?
Well, yeah. So, a little history. A few years back, I was going to buy a farm, and I would have liked to have farmed about an acre of organic vegetables to bring down to Long Island or New York City, but things just haven't worked out. And then pandemic hit, so it was just as well that it didn't happen, because I would have probably bought the property and tried to make my first start last spring, which would have been a disaster. So just as well that the property fell through. But in getting ready to get on a farm, I have to learn a lot of things. I haven't done this before. So one thing was, how do you get, let's say 1,000 tomato plants ready to go on the ground, or 1,000 of anything. I'd never done more than a few seeds in the backyard in a quarter acre.
Right.
So
you got going economies, yeah.
So I started in advance thinking, well, I was supposed to take ownership on June 1st, which would have really pretty much meant that a year, because it's so late. And throw some tomato plants in the ground, maybe I can get something.
You're freezing.
The farm didn't go through. I had these plants at the time. I'm freezing up.
Okay, it's better. You can try it.
How much of what I said did you or didn't you hear?
About yes. Oh, go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, you eat tomatoes, getting them in the ground and getting a little bit off of them. But it was
right.
late.
If I could have started them, I would have, but the farm didn't go through. So I had these plants started in trays. I had 10 trays, 72 cells each. 1,440 something, tomatoes, plants. And I came up with the idea, well, why not just try to sell them as tomato plants? I had to come up with something that I could transplant them into. So I came up with the red solo cup. And my location is not ideal if you have a toddler running around the front lawn, but I get enough traffic and I can say I have enough space for some parking that I thought, hey, I could sell these off my front lawn maybe. What the heck? So, well, I did.
Oh, wow.
Did well with it.
And I sold, 1,000. After 1,000 of these going for about $2 a piece, the math
kind of said, "Hey, wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if there's people that are willing to buy stuff, how much are they willing to pay, and what else would they buy?" So this last year I did it with the pandemic, and then I'm doing it again this year. Now, in addition to the plants, which was just kind of a fluky thing, I always had a garden, but never put much effort into it because I'm not a gardener kind of guy. Even though I sell tomato plants, people think I'm a farmer. I say, no, it's all about the green arrows, not the green plants. So I have used, this is kind of crazy, but I have used a program called woofing. Are you familiar with woofing?
Only from
So
your
woofing
chat.
it's a volunteer concept. It's international. It started in Europe, but it's here. The concept is if you have a farm and you need people to work on your farm periodically, let's say in the spring and in the fall, you either have to hire, people or get your friends to help you, whatever. So this is a program where people can they coordinate farmers who need help with peers who want to learn about farming. And so, although I'm not a farm, I've learned enough, and I can show some hired teachers. I could teach somebody how to grow stuff in the backyard, in an urban backyard, doing it organically and using. I compost. I do as much as I possibly can to be, environmentally friendly. So in exchange for them coming to my house, I'll give them a room and feed them, and they have, let's say, half a day to go explore, and half a day they help me, and it's worked out really well. But that's where I get most of my transplanting done. Not so much as me, although this year I've done it mostly because I didn't have there's just not that many people looking for an experience like that on woofing. So what I offer isn't so much as a great farming experience, so much as a strange organic backyard farming experience that just so happens to be really close to one of the big attractions of New York would be the Fire Island beaches. So you can catch a ferry from my house.
Oh wow!
It's a half an hour ferry. It's an interesting exchange, but in exchange for me, and it's been in the past to have people plant stuff in gardens as it's necessary. So like right now, I'd be looking for somebody that wants to learn how to pull and cure garlic. So it's still in the ground. If they get in touch with me, somebody gets in touch with me before I pull it, I'd gladly show them how to do that. And to the extent to what do I know about doing that? Very little, but I can show you what I know. And if you got a better idea, I'm willing to listen. It's just, this is how I do it. And I make assumptions that it's okay because it worked last year anyway. So
Hey there, hands in the dirt. How's it going, Mr. Stacy? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
Okay. Go interrupt at any time. I've just kind of, out of pure curiosity, gotten involved in different things and tried to make different aspects of what I've done work better. Right. So I don't have a greenhouse. You heard us talking. I have just these silly trailers that I shrink wrap in plastic and try to make the best of them. So having a greenhouse space would be, so if I get that going, then I can probably say that I can have more variety of things available all at the same time, which is always a good thing because it's a one-stop shop then.
Yep.
But I just don't know enough about all of the different varieties of plants that people will want, and I would limit myself to cash crops, meaning a tomato and a pepper I can sell every day a week, no problem. Cilantro, not so much. For some people, they'll buy it if you put it in front of them because if they see it, they'll buy it. Others might come out looking for it, but most of those people know how to grow it themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
We could give it a couple more minutes, guys, and I'm going to try to get back to work if the rain's going to let me.
No, I'll let you get, man. I was going to say I got a ball game to watch at 2:00.
What you watching?
Tennessee and Texas elimination game, NCAA baseball.
Oh, that's not a ball game.
Amateur baseball.
Amateur.
UT. I'm a UT graduate, Tennessee. The original UT.
Baseball for the rest of us.
Yeah,
No.
I got an appointment at 2:00. Got a date. This is win or go home time, Danny. I don't know if you follow
Right.
baseball, but
I don't really follow much as far as the sports. I watch a little bit of football, mostly college. Um,
I love the NCAA. They set up. You know what round robin is? You lose two, you go home.
right.
Yeah, so this is it. They both have a loss. Texas was number 2, and Tennessee was number 4. And whoever loses today is going home. And Tennessee's where I graduated from, so I can't not watch. Yeah, it's the College World Series, Joe. That's right. It is. And I live in North Carolina, and NC State's in it. My nephew went to NC State, and they're ahead of their bracket, so. I
I
was
went
just getting ready to get out. You've been on about 2.5 hours, right?
2.5 hours. Yeah. I ain't gonna keep you long. I went to UL Lafayette, second to
Lafayette?
biggest school. Yeah. But we actually just had a guy from our hometown that got drafted. He went to UL also, and he got drafted by the 49ers.
No kidding.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. His little boy was actually on my little boy's baseball team this year, T-ball team. So
Oh, wow.
super cool, man. To have we had a guy that played professional baseball for a couple years, maybe. Shoot, man, it's been at least 25 years now. But for the NFL to be drafted, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll jump off. NC State beat Vanderbilt. Yes, they did. They're in the driver's seat. Yep. I'll let
I'm
you
gonna head
finish
out
up,
also.
Danny.
I'm gonna head out
Okay,
also.
guys.
Y'all want to say goodbye?
Adios.
Thanks
Thank
for having me.
Thank y'all so much for coming up. I really enjoyed it. And everybody in the chat, thank y'all for coming by. I hope y'all have a great day. South Louisiana, boy, you gotta love it. Y'all grow that. Later.
Grow that. You grow that, Danny.
You grow that.
Well,
Have
if
a
you're
good
from
day.
New York, you better freaking grow it.
You better grow that. Get the pots out there.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.